Question. My parents are both disbelievers. I know that disbelievers cannot be our wali even if they are our parents. But in my school, my parents are seen as my wali. And I think here the questioner means legal guardian. I must go to jummuah, but my school wants my wali's guardian's signature and a letter that states that all of the responsibility is on them. According to the school, my wali, my guardian, is my parents. What should I do? Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen wa sallallahu wa sallam wa baraka nabi Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. You're right to say that al-wilaya, legal authority or legal influence of non-Muslims over Muslims, has been disallowed in Islam. Among the sources of evidence cited by scholars to support this prohibition is the verse from Surah An-Nisa, chapter number 4, verse number 141, in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَنْ يَجْعَلَ اللَّهُ لِلْكَافِرِينَ عَلَى الْمُؤْمِنِينَ سَبِيلًا. Allah will never give the disbelievers the upper hand over the believers. The scholars of Islam have also reached a unanimous consensus that it is not permissible for a non-Muslim to be in charge of the affairs of Muslims, whether in a broad and comprehensive sense, i.e. a head of state, king, or supreme ruler, or in a more specific sense like a judge, an authorized agent in a marriage ceremony like a wali or muwakkal, a legal guardian of a Muslim ward, etc. So they've said that it's prohibited, unanimously agree that this is prohibited. But it is important to note that when Allah says that He will never give the disbelievers the upper hand over the believers, He is speaking in legal Islamic terms, not in terms of what He will decree and allow to happen due to His wisdom, which we may not fully fathom or comprehend. In other words, it is not permissible for a Muslim to willfully appoint a non-Muslim to govern his or her affairs. But that may happen against his or her will. And it has happened historically that non-Muslim peoples and non-Muslim armies and authoritarian figures have conquered Muslim lands and ruled over them. This has happened in the history of Islam. And it's, quite frankly, it's happening right now. In such a case, he or she, that Muslim, may be compelled to accept this authority and operate within its confines, as the people before us were forced to accept this authority and operate within its confines. That being said, in your case, as a minor in a country where the law gives guardianship to a minor child's parents until unless they are deceased or proven unfit, and this guardianship gives them the authority by the law of the land to make decisions concerning their protection, education, care, privileges, mobility, discipline, etc. of their minor child. In such a case, you are coerced and compelled to comply, and therefore you are not in any way sinful for complying. So this is a general rule, and specifically in the case of the letter that you need to attend your religious worship service, you just comply with that. You accept it. It's not your druthers, but you accept it because this is the law of the land in which you live. And this is not something that you're willfully doing, but you are basically coerced and compelled to comply with this in order to achieve your religious objective. But it's also important for me to note that you should also consider that your compliance and respect for your parents' authority and kind treatment of them, it's not only permitted, but encouraged, because it may cause their hearts to incline toward Islam. It is also important to remember that parents, regardless of whether or not they share our religion, must be honored, respected, and obeyed, provided that they do not instruct us to do something which constitutes disobedience to Allah. Allah says about the rights of parents, irrespective of their religion. Allah says, وَقَضَى رَبُّكَ أَلَّا تَعْبُدُوا إِلَّا إِيَّاهُ وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا. And your Lord has prescribed that you worship none but Him and that you are kind and dutiful to your parents. And He says, وَوَصَّيْنَا الْإِنسَانَ بِوَالِدَيْهِ إِحْسَانًا. And we have mandated for people to honor their parents. And He said, وَإِنْ جَاهَدَكَ عَلَى أَن تُشْرِكَ بِي مَا لَيْسَ لَكَ بِهِ عِلْمٌ فَلَا تُطِعْهُمَا وَصَاحِبُهُمَا فِي الدُّنْيَا مَعْرُوفًا. Should they pressure you to associate partners with me of which you have no knowledge, obey them not, but continue to keep their company in this world in the manner generally recognized and accepted. And Allah knows best. هذا وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبي محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.